So I wanted to record this video as something special because I know we are in a recess, right? We're taking a little break between the two semesters, but I still wanted you to have something to work on, some type of project, some type of contact with the language, and an opportunity for you to practice. So what I would like to do is I would like to tell you a little bit about an experience, my story, when I used to work in Manhattan. So I was 19 years old and I took a civil service exam, and they had called me to work in Manhattan, to work with the post office. So it was a test that I took when I think I was 17. I was in high school. I was finishing high school. So I think it was a little bit before I turned 18. And I was 19 and they gave me a call to go work. I think more than 50,000 people took the test, and my number was like 7,000. So I wasn't expecting the call, but they called me and I went and I did my training. I learned how to drive one of the larger mail trucks. But thankfully I didn't have to drive around the city because I had my own route. And I was working in what's called Alphabet City. So the station was on 1st Avenue and 1st Street. So really downtown, but then the routes and all of the routes that we covered was in Alphabet City. So after you go past 1st Avenue, you get to Avenue A, Avenue B, Avenue C. That's why they call it Alphabet City. So it's this Lower East Side. That's what it's called, the Lower East Side. And so that's where I delivered mail. So I didn't have a fixed route, so I would work in different parts of this neighborhood. It was interesting because I learned some of the celebrities that grew up there, and I guess there's only one that maybe you would know, but probably not by name. Only if you saw the movie Ice Age. He was the voice for the character Sid. So he grew up in that neighborhood, and some other ones, but I don't remember. But it was an interesting experience in that neighborhood. They also had a street called St. Mark's. St. Mark's was this what do I call, like a hipster, yuppie type of neighborhood. A lot of bars, a lot of restaurants, a lot of things were usually closed during the day when I was delivering mail. And then this other part of town had what's called the projects. The projects are government buildings, and that was an interesting route because it had two sections. It had a main road, and one side was the projects. The other side were more upscale or upper middle class buildings. And I remember one day I used to always deliver at the projects first. Although technically I was supposed to deliver at the projects last, but I'll go there first because I knew that people, they might be home because of disability or unemployment, and they were always happy to see me because they could get their mail early. So if they got a check, if they got whatever benefits, if they got whatever gifts, then they were happy to see me. So I would deliver there first, and plus because it was early, I didn't have to worry about my safety or anything. So I would go there, then I would go to the other side of town where you had more of the upper middle class. But I do remember one day I went to deliver, so I delivered my mail in the projects. Then I went over across town, and the thing about the nicer building is that there were no places for me to leave my cart, the mail cart that I used to use, right? That I used to take with me or push around. And so one day I had to use the bathroom really bad. And when you get those sensations in your stomach and you're like, okay, I need to handle some business. So I didn't know what to do because I got my cart. I'm technically not allowed to leave it because it would be against the law if someone were to take the mail. But I can't bring the cart all the way back to the other part of town, the project buildings, because in the projects they had a place where I could keep it, where I could lock it up, and that would have kept it safe. But I knew I wasn't going to make it that far. So I went to knock on the door of one of the women, of one of the people there, right? I didn't know it was a woman at the time, but a woman answered the door, and I explained. I said, ma'am, I'm here delivering the mail. I didn't even have my uniform at the time because it was the first 3 months. I'm here to deliver the mail. This is my cart, and please, may I please use your bathroom? And she had this look of like concern, and she felt bad because she knew that I was in pain. And she said, I'm sorry, I can't. So I said, okay, I understand. So I left the cart and I went running. I went running across the street to the restaurant, hoping that no one would steal the mail or steal the cart or do anything. And then when I came back, and thankfully it was there, and as far as I know, nothing ever happened. I was never reported, and I was able to keep my job. But that's my story. When I used to work in Alphabet City, I used to take the A train to 14th Street, 14th Street and 7th Avenue. I think that's what it was. It's called Union Square. And then from there, I used to take the 3 train. I think it was the A and the 3, and I would go downtown to the First Avenue and First Street. So that's my work experience. So let's take a look at some expressions and a map of the city, so you get better acquainted with what I was talking about.
Okay, so now I want to show you a map of the city and kind of give you a little tour. I know one time we reviewed a map of Manhattan before, at least a section of Manhattan. So we're going to do something similar now. Okay, so here we are. This is Penn Station up here, and I have the 3 points marked off on our map, but this is actually if we were to go driving. So in the story I wasn't driving, but Penn Station is here on 34th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. So we have this here, right, 7th Avenue. And I took the train to come down here to Union Square. And then came down here to First Avenue and East First Street. So First Avenue and East First Street. And it's interesting here, this road is the FDR. It goes along the river. The FDR goes along the river. And I used to deliver mail all in here. So this is Avenue A, B, C, I think this is D. And over here is the Williamsburg Bridge. In fact, let me move. Yeah, the Williamsburg Bridge and Houston or Houston. I think it's Houston Street. And going down further, we have the Brooklyn Bridge, right? The famous Brooklyn Bridge. But here we have the Williamsburg Bridge. So I used to deliver, this is all Alphabet City here. But if we take a look at this map and we go to the subway map, now the subway map, this looks a little bit more confusing, but not every subway map is this detailed. Yeah, so I actually need a better map. Let me see if I could get us a better map. So over here we have Penn Station, and at Penn Station, this is the largest station. Well, not the largest station, but most trains go to Penn Station. So if you're ever lost, you can use Penn Station as a point of reference. But Penn Station, you could take many of the trains, but we have here the ACE that runs by Penn Station. We have the 1, 2, and 3 lines that runs by Penn Station. So many of the trains go by Penn. So when I was working there, I had to take the 1, 2, or 3, and I needed to go across. I went down to 14th Street here, and I had to go to Union Square. And from Union Square here, I had to take the R train. And the R train, it would bring me down here to First Street and First Avenue near Houston Street. So that was before the Williamsburg Bridge. So there you have it. That's how the train systems there work. Hopefully this gave you a good point of reference. One day, I hope to take you to Manhattan.
So now it's your turn. I want you to describe an experience you had, preferably, if possible, about a city that you worked in or studied in, something out of your routine, right? Something that out of the norm. So share with us something that happened to you. What did you do? What was the problem? What was the solution? And feel free to practice before you record. But I do want you to only speak in English. And I look forward to seeing your videos, seeing your experience. And I hope you enjoyed this. And please share with me your thoughts. And next time we'll talk about your experience and how it went.